Hey friends, Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Man, I just love this time of year because you've got the warm days, everything has gotten green outside again, but you still have those cool, crisp nights. And now that I got the pond going again, I hear the sound of the water. Can you hear it? This is just so relaxing to me. At the end of the day, come back home, have a little drink, sit out back, feel the air, hear the water. It's a great feeling for me. But let's get on to our Dallas Cowboys. Been a busy day, of course, with the Dallas Cowboys. We've had talk about Randy Gregory and stuff. We've had, of course, talk of Stephen Jones and saying they're ready to break the bank and pay Dak Prescott what he's worth. And we also had them talking about tight end as well as safety. Now you can look at the Dallas Cowboys, and the Dallas Cowboys literally have addressed all of the weaknesses that we had last year. Offensive line, we got Connor Williams, and I got to tell you, he's looking like a beast. I mean, did you see him do those plyometrics where he's jumping up literally like on top of a barrel? Guy's going to be fantastic. But we also brought in backups for offensive line. We have not only guys that are great starters, but we have guys that can fill in when and where they're needed, which is great. We looked at our wide receivers and said, you know what? We need to try and do something different. Now, we don't know if that's going to work out, but they definitely tried something different. They brought in a new coach. They brought in some new receivers. And hopefully going to be changing around the plays a bit to address that problem. Now, we've got another problem, of course, at tight end where we have a hole with Jason Witten. They're not saying they're going to reach out for one of these veterans like the guy was just released from New Orleans yesterday. But they're keeping their options open. You can look at defensive line. They're looking at Terrell McClain coming back. They've ended up adding some other beef with Kona Ely. No, I haven't stole Joe Boo's rum yet. And things, and they've tried to do that. Linebacking core. Sean Lee missed time and stuff. Jalen Smith was on one leg. So you end up getting a Van Der Esch. So they went through and systematically addressed all of these areas of weakness except for safety. Now, whether or not you feel that Xavier Woods, Kevon Frazier, and shout out to Kevon who just had a baby yesterday. Congratulations and welcome to the world of being a parent, which will be a full-time career for the rest of your life. But it's very rewarding too. And Jeff Heath. Even if you feel like these three guys can be your safeties, you really don't have depth in there. So you need to add someone. Now, there are some good safeties out there. There's Kenny Vaccaro from the Saints. There's Eric Reed from San Francisco. And there's a guy who's kind of out there in Earl Thomas. God, I'm just messing up tonight. But the Cowboys won't sign Vaccaro or Reed because of the anthem protest. Both of those guys, let's be honest now, okay? I know Jerry's not going to come out and say this, but both of these guys are guys that were big leaders in the national anthem protest. I believe that's one of the reasons why they never even took a chance and even looked at my buddy, of course, Demario Davis, because, he was one of the NFL players that negotiated the settlement with the NFL. Jerry Jones has made it clear which side of the fence he's on the anthem protest, and I don't think that he would sign one of those guys because of that. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking at veteran help, the only other help that's out there is Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas, who they had a chance to get, but they decided, we don't want to overpay, and I'm actually glad that they didn't overpay. And I think they still have it in their mind that we still have an opportunity for it, and I believe they do. It's just a matter of when and how much exactly is it going to cost you. Seattle does not want a long-term deal. They have done nothing to renegotiate a deal with Earl Thomas. And we are already knee deep in May. You know the man said, I don't want to play on a 1-year deal. I want to be the highest paid player in the NFL at safety. And if it's already May, you're already in phase 2 of OTAs, and you haven't talked to him about an extension, you're not going to be doing an extension for him. You're just going to assume that he's going to come in on that $8.5 million contract, or you'll eventually move him. And that's where I believe it's going to happen, is he's eventually going to be moved. We'll have to wait and see exactly when, but I can guarantee you, Seattle's not going to break the bank for an aging safety. And whether or not you believe in the guys we have, having him as a veteran on this team would be advantageous from a learning standpoint, from a coach on the field standpoint, from a motivator standpoint. All of these things point into a reason why to do it. And of course, next year, you're going to have a boatload of cash because you took care of business this year. You got your financial house in order. If you look at this team and say, with the cycle of the NFL, which is up and down, this year should be an up year, especially with Jason Garrett basically on the hot seat. And every time Jason Garrett has been on the hot seat, the team performs and saves his job. Dak Prescott, pretty much Stephen Jones has put it out there that, hey, we're looking for Dak Prescott to do well so we can pay the man. You've got the incentive of Dak when you get all of these trolls off his back and looking for that Oprah-type money from the Dallas Cowboys. Zeke Elliott. Zeke does not have the distractions of the NFL breathing down his throat. Zeke will be coming in here to play. This team has a lot of pieces together that if it can get lucky with the ball bouncing the right way, get a couple of calls, have some help, that they have as good a shot as anybody else to go all the way. So if you believe that, then you take a chance on bringing in an Earl Thomas to try and bolster your defensive secondary. It's the only area that you have not really addressed and tried to make an upgrade on it. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on that standpoint. But I got to tell you, I just love being out here at night. I had somebody ask, Mark, how did you learn to do so many different things? You know, you're cooking, you build stuff, you know, you do videos. And the answer I have for you is out of necessity. I learned to build stuff and fix things because I didn't have the money to pay somebody else to do it for me. When me and my wife broke up, I got Michael and Michaela for the majority of the time. Every other weekend, my wife would get the kids. And so I was responsible for taking care of them. And I didn't make enough money to be able to go out and eat all the time, so I would always cook for the kids. And of course, the more you cook, the more you do anything, the better you get. And it's the same thing of when I had the flesh-eating bacteria here in my knee. I spent 6 months learning how to walk again. I lost a job that I really loved, and I always did woodworking and things. So as I was beginning to get on my feet, people would say, hey, can you build me a dresser? Because I love the one you built for your son. Or, you know, and I started doing more and more things like that for people, and it developed into a business. And as far as YouTube, trial and error. You guys who have been with me for a long time know how technology challenged I am, but the great thing these days is almost anything you want to know is right here in front of you that you can watch a video on how to do it. So much technology is right there at your hands. There's no reason why anybody can't do anything. So that's the plain answer to how I learned to do so much or why I do stuff. It was out of necessity. And it developed into just doing stuff that I really love. So, if there's something that you want done, a apply yourself, get the information, bust your ass, and try and get it done. I'm gonna try something new out here. This is my part of my dream here for my man cave. I had the fire pit thing over here that was wood, and of course you get the smoke and everything else. You got to keep stoking it. But I got this piece of slate right here. I'm actually going to cut this out, get one of the gas burners to go in here with the glass rocks and stuff in there. The little igniter, boom. Pop it out here. So that way you've got a nice little fire that'll burn. It'll be easy to turn on and off. And we can sit out here, mount a TV on the wall over there, and watch our night games out here smoking a cigar or having a little shot of rum. Even if it's a cool night, with a blanket on and the heat rolling. It's always good to have dreams and then work hard to try and fulfill them. I'm Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Joe Boo, and I'll see you guys soon. Up your butt, Joe Boo.